we'll kind of move on and look at the seedings so far. Like we said earlier, the starting to lock in a little bit. So as of now, the Bucks are locked in at 1. So they're most likely going to play the Magic. Raptors are locked in at 2, so they're going to play the Nets. This is where it starts getting a little iffy, unless if things change since I last checked. Celtics are locked in at 3, but from what I last checked, there's a chance that they could play either the Heat, Pacers, or Sixers, which are the only 3 teams left in the East. I don't know if you guys have seen any updates since then.
No, it should be locked in now.
Yeah,
y'all are locked in.
Yeah, it's locked in.
Is.
Celtics Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
Celtics Sixers. Okay, so then it's going to be Heat Pacers as well.
Yep.
Okay. So out of those matchups on the East, any of them you think may be closer than anticipated?
Not really. I mean, yeah, he Pacers.
He Pacers, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I don't see it going past 6, but
if Simmons wasn't hurt, I'm sorry, Jordan, I would have said Celtics Sixers, but now I'm just kind of like, I don't know. So Heat Pacers would definitely be the one, but I don't like what I've seen from it was all this hype built up around the TJ Warren, Jimmy Butler matchup. And then the other night they finally get to meet and you just see one team is clearly better than the other. I mean, even Jimmy Butler, who's not a knockdown shooter and this, that, or another, he still did other things to get his team to win, and it seems like they cruised by him. So, I mean, it could be close, but unless Oladipo starts playing at a higher level, which I don't know if he can do coming off the injury so soon, I just don't know, man. I wish Simmons was healthy for that Sixers Celtics. That would have been good.
Yeah, that would have been a great series.
Even with Simmons hurt, the Sixers were one of those matchups that I was kind of hoping we could avoid.
Right, yeah.
You could even argue that, the Sixers sometimes play better without Simmons and with like a true point guard. So, I mean, that definitely scares me. I feel like Al Horford always steps up in the playoffs. Obviously you have Embiid. He's back off of his injury, so if he stays healthy, he's always a threat. Realistically, I see that series going 6 games.
The Sixers Celtics?
Sixers Celtics, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not mad at that, but I think you brought up a good point. Like, we're going to get opportunity to see because the Sixers had some decisions to make. We've all said that before coming up. So now they're going to get a first-hand experience of what it's like to just have Embiid and build around him. They'll probably go traditional, Embiid at the 5, probably Horford at the 4. They'll have a traditional point guard, Tobias Harris at the 3, probably Shake Milton at the 1. I mean, we're going to see how good they can be with an offense featured around Embiid. So even though Ben Simmons is hurt and we probably don't expect them to beat the Celtics, this could be a very important series as far as the future of how this franchise goes over the next couple of years.
Yeah, they should be somewhat competitive in this series too, because the Sixers they should be a scrappy defensive team that's led by Matisse Thybulle. So they should be able to do a little something, and then they still hopefully Embiid can stay healthy.
That's what I was going to say.
And then you still got Tobias Harris, who was 18, 20 points per game. So they still got some, but
Josh Richardson too, right?
Right.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been good.
They should do a little something, but I don't think they're going to get past the Celtics though. But
see, this thing about the Celtics with me, and I've said it plenty of times, it's like the Sixers have the one thing that I said was the weakness. They got the size. They got Embiid down there. Daniel Tice is good. Like I said,
I was gonna say don't sleep on him.
Yeah,
I'm not
sleep on young Tice. I'm not sleep on him.
And Robert Williams.
Robert
stepped
Williams
up
is
this
good
bubble.
too. But they're all still undersized, so that that was my only concern with the Celtics all year. Like, okay, size. Is size gonna matter? I mean, can Tice guard Embiid? Probably not 1-on-1. Will the Celtics do things to lock up Embiid? Most likely double teams, force him to shoot jumpers, which he loves to do for some reason. Probably. But it'd be nice to see what Embiid does. Another year, another playoff run. Are you going to learn from last year? Are you going to dominate in the paint? Kind of the same questions we got for AD, but I ain't going to touch that right now. I can't touch it right now.
We're getting there. We're getting there real soon. Right, we're going to jump over to the West now. First thing we got to start off in the West is this race for the 8th seed, right? So obviously it's extremely tight, and then within 4 games it's a play-in game. So right now in the 8th seed, the Trailblazers are there. And then in 9th, 10th, and 11th, in order, it goes Grizzlies, Suns, and Spurs, and all those guys are within reaching. The only 2 teams that have been eliminated are the Kings and the Pelicans, which I don't think was a surprise to anyone.
I don't even know why they was there.
Pelicans
were going to make some noise, though.
Well, I'm talking about once we realized how poorly the coach was managing Zion.
Adam Silver went through all that trouble to get the Pelicans in. Just for them to sit Zion out for the last 5 minutes of not even like the 3rd game, the 4th game, the 1st game.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I don't think they understood that they were in a win now situation. I don't know what they were saving him for. They were saving him for that moment. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Very questionable call there. But yeah, we're gonna see some interesting things. And honestly, this race and seeing, the Suns go 7-0, like I think Mike you mentioned, it makes a case for like leaving the playing game at like making that a continuous thing. I don't know if they will, just because the only reason they're doing it is because some teams missed some games or some teams could have gone on a run. But I don't know. It's just such an interesting thing. I'm really excited to see that play out. But who do you guys think is going to take that 8 seed?
The Blazers.
I was going to say, I expect the Blazers to keep it. As for who's going to take the 9, I mean, it depends a lot on what happens. I think the Grizzlies might catch it because all they need to do, as far as I'm concerned, or from my understanding at least, is beat the Bucks. I think it's tomorrow night. And Giannis obviously suspended. Bucks clinched 1, so they probably don't even need to play like Middleton, Bledsoe, guys like that. But this is like must win for the Grizzlies, so it relies heavily on that, and they're tied with the Suns right now, and they hold the tiebreaker over the Suns. So if they're able to beat the Bucks, then I think it's all them, right?
Yeah, and it's just terrible timing for the Grizzlies, I feel like, too. They saw Jaren Jackson Jr. go down with an injury, and the Grizzlies were a team I thought were going to sneak into that 8 seed, but, Trailblazers have been cooking, Suns have been cooking. Yeah, in my opinion, I think the Trailblazers are going to end up getting it. I don't think you can stop Dame right now. This man is not human in the bubble. But, yeah, Mike, Stacey, what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Stacey, you good.
Like I said, I think the Blazers, I think they're going to take the AC. I just think they're going to take it. I want to see the play-in game. I want to see Blazers and Suns just because they're the 2 hottest teams in the bubble right now, and I want to see that clash, that play out. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, the Blazers going to get the playoffs. I said this before. The Blazers, they have the best team as far as people that's pushing for the 8th spot. And we probably have all thought this before the season started. The Blazers, they should have been like the 4th or 5th seed this whole time. They were just tripping. But now they found their footing, and they have to get in. They pretty much have to get in, or this be all for nothing. And who knows how Dame's going to take it mentally if he's dropping 60 and they don't get in off one game, literally the last game.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I'm going to say that the Blazers are going to make it. As much as the Laker fan in me would rather see the Suns in the playoffs, like you guys already said, Grizzlies got the Bucks. There's no Giannis. Bucks are locked into the number 1 seed. Grizzlies knows what's at stake. It'd be tough to see them lose that game without Giannis being on that court. And then the Suns have the Mavericks, which is a very losable game. Because you got Luka, you got Porzingis. I mean, I don't know if you guys caught a little bit of the Trailblazer game the other night, but those guys, those guys can get buckets
very questionable call that ended it too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that the charge.
Yeah, Mavs easily.
Oh no! And then what's his name? Trey Burke pushed the Dame Lillard on the 3. The Mavericks hit to. I think that would have put him up too. So it was a lot of questionable things.
That's the call that I was talking about for sure.
Okay.
I think Mavs could have easily won that one. But
right. Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be the Blazers, whether they have a play-in game against the Suns or the Grizzlies. I think the Blazers are going to win just because in those series they have the best player on the court, and that's Dame Lillard. And obviously, if you say something to Dame Lillard, he's possible to drop 50 to 60 points on you at any point. So it's going to be the Blazers. My Lakers, we in for a hell of a road. But, hey, look, we got to get it started somewhere.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to lead into next to see, like, as a Lakers fan, you're on the 1 seed right now. You're going to play the 8 seed. I'm sure you do not want to play the Trailblazers.
Look. I'm not going to be that Laker guy coming here and lie to you. Out of all the teams we could have seen in the AFC, I was definitely rooting for the Suns or Grizzlies. Did not want to see the Blazers. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not picking the Blazers over the Lakers. I can't do it. I don't see it happening. CJ McCollum's got some back injuries all of a sudden. I'm not gonna dive deep into it. But if there was one team I didn't want to see, it's definitely the Blazers. Dame can give you 60 at any point. Like you already said, Stacey, the Lakers have been disappointing in most of their games since being back from the bubble. Perimeter defense is a big one. No Avery Bradley. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. No Rondo. I mean, it's shown. And even as I'm sitting here watching my Lakers play, and even on the nights when they're playing good, I'm just looking at the other teams and like, why are they getting so many open threes? Like, why? It's like continuously, it's always a breakdown. So am I worried on a scale of 1 to 10? I'll probably put it right now at a solid 4 because they still got to get in. But yeah, man, I'm not trying to see them Blazers. I don't want to.
So I have a question for you. I've been holding this for this week. I guess Stacey, as a Lakers fan, you can answer this too. One of my friends was saying that Avery Bradley, his 3-and-D kind of mentality, is the key to that Lakers team, and that's why they're falling apart because of the lack of Avery Bradley. I'm curious what your thought is to that.
I wouldn't say that. I think he's a piece to this team, but let's keep things in perspective. Avery Bradley averaged about 8 points a game, played very good defense, but it's not like we lost AD. You know what I'm saying? Now imagine losing that on defense. To me, it's not that. I just think it's coming back into the bubble. A lot of these other teams are, vying for playoff spots. They're playing a lot better. No crowds. I heard someone say you don't have to come to the Staples Center no more. We're just here in Orlando hooping. Also, we've already clinched too. So as much as we say, yes, play hard, get in that right mindset, when you've already clinched the number 1 seed and your primary goal is to really stay healthy, I can see losses like this. Like, imagine if this was the regular season and it was the end of the season and we were losing games. Most people would say, they're clinched. They're headed to the playoffs. You know what I mean? But like I said, the defense and some of the things we see has been a cause for concern. But Avery Bradley, nah, man. That's not Gary Payton. That's Avery Bradley. Let's keep things in perspective. Yeah. Avery Bradley's good, but he's not that. All right?
Yeah, I was about to say that too. I was like, even though he is a nice piece for the Lakers, he's just one piece, and they can win without Avery Bradley. They're the most important people for the Lakers for they run to the title. I'm not even gonna say LeBron. It's all gonna be on AD, Kyle Kuzma, and some of those role guys, J.R. Smith, Deion Waiters, and KD.
Danny Green!
Oh my God, Danny Green.
I would say it's more Danny Green shooting like 0 for 8.
What is wrong with him, man?
Hey, look, bro. Danny been hurting me lately. I'm gonna be honest. He's been hurting me. And it's like, I'm so glad, because he was missing shots one game, and then he just kept shooting and did nothing. Now he's like putting it on the floor a little bit, just trying to create, you need to do something. Because if you miss another 3, God, I'm gonna be pissed off. I
don't know if you're doing a floater or an alley.
Like what? Airball, floater, alley.
That's not Spurs Danny Green over there anymore.
No,
definitely not.
But I don't know. Like for me, I feel like it's less so Avery Bradley and more LeBron hasn't turned it on yet. Once LeBron turns it on, it's going to be a completely different team, like from top to bottom.
Yeah, I feel like it's a combination of everything you guys said. It's pretty much, I feel like from what I saw, it was just a lot of stupid little mistakes that they'll easily correct. I mean, it's LeBron. He's literally one of the best vets in the league. He's going to be able to flip that switch, turn it on, and kick this team into gear. You know he's going to do it.
Hopefully they don't over-rely on him as that number 1 guy because this is his first go-around in the Western Conference playoffs. This is his first time in the Western Conference playoffs, and every round leading up to the NBA Finals is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So, that's why I'm saying, more importantly, LeBron, AD has to dominate, and Kyle Kuzma has to stay consistent. If those 2 guys do their job, The sky's the limit. I think they can get the ring and go to the finals. I think they can do it.
Okay.
Consistency is key for Kuzma, man. That's always my thing. Like, I hate slandering him on Twitter sometimes, but I got to. Like, I need that consistency from him. Great night the other night, but I'm at the point with Kuzma now. Like, after I see a night like that, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm cool, but I'm trying to see what you do the next night, because it's been too many times. Maybe not so much this year, but in years prior, you give us 30 one night, 28, 27. Then follow it up with like 3 points, 0 for 9 shooting. So, like, consistency is key.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the matchups. Obviously, we have the Lakers playing whoever ends up with that 8th seed. Moving on from that, the Clippers and the Nuggets, they're at 2 and 3 right now. There's a game going on right now. Last I checked, the Clippers were winning in the last minute of the game. So it looks like Clippers are going to secure that 2 seed.
Yeah, and Clippers ended up winning by 13.
Okay, yep. So Clippers are going to play the Mavericks. Then it's going to be Jazz Nuggets, and then my personal favorite matchup this in the first round, Thunder Rockets.
Woo! Like that.
I'm extremely excited for that one. I will probably watch every game of that one. But out of those, aside from Lakers 8 seed, since we already talked about that, what are some of those series to watches, and do you think there may be any upsets on our radar that we should be watching for?
Will you call any win an upset besides if the Lakers lose? I think everybody else can go. Either or, well, except the Clippers.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd be stunned if the Mavs beat the Clippers.
Yeah, I'll be stunned too. But
or if the Jazz beat the Nuggets. To be honest, Nuggets are my sleeper team in the
West.
The
thing about the Jazz is they've been through this road before, and it's about time they go far. It's about time.
But it's just not having Bogdanović. Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, but still, still Donovan Mitchell.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell's one of the top 20 players, top 15, 20 players in the NBA, and Rudy Gobert is a whole defensive MVP candidate. They should do something, and also the Nuggets too, because last year they was the 2 seed.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is you said that about the Jazz, you could say the same thing about the Nuggets. They've been here before, and this might be their year to go a bit further.
And the Nuggets have a healthy MPJ. They've been experimenting with Bol. I think the Nuggets are gonna go pretty deep. Nuggets. I've said this all season long. They're my sleeper in the West, man. I really believe they could come out of the West.
My thing about the Jazz and the Nuggets in that series is, if you just start listing the best players in that series, who's number one? Probably. Well, maybe we probably agree. Jokic.
Yeah, I would definitely say Jokic.
Number 2, I guess we go Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
The next 3-4 players might be on the Nuggets. Yeah. Gobert's probably in there somewhere, but he's not really a scorer. Is he going to give you enough on a nightly basis? I just don't think so. But now that I'm looking at the Nuggets, okay, you got Jamal Murray, Jokic. That's the obvious shit. Bol, Michael Porter Jr., he go average about 20 in the playoffs. I don't care if he's a rookie, how long he been playing. 6'10" with a jumper like that. They still don't have Will Barton. They still don't have Gary Harris. The Jazz, you're right. They should advance this year. They've got that experience. I just don't think they have enough. The number 2 guy on the Jazz right now for buckets would be Jordan Clarkson. I don't know. I'm trying to think who's after Mitchell. Who are you giving the ball?
It's a reach, regardless of who you say.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my only thing with the Jazz. It's just they don't have enough. Bogdanović was big for them. I remember he was hitting game winners this year. I think he was shooting over 40% from 3. And I'm not saying if he was there, they'd beat the Nuggets, but I just think that's their problem right there. It's just not enough firepower, especially when you're in the Western Conference.
Yeah, it's not the time for the Jazz just yet. This is the Nuggets here, at least in that matchup. And then moving one bracket in, of course, we got the Thunder Rockets. That one's going to be outstanding.
That's gonna be a good one.
I can already tell there's going to be a lot of bad blood going on, and I'm so
that might be 7. That's 7.
Yeah,
I got 7 all over.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things about the Thunder so far in the bubble is that pretty much since the beginning they haven't been playing their starters like that. I remember there was one game Chris Paul was the only starter that they played, and there's one game I don't think Steven Adams has played really at all so far in this bubble. Like maybe a couple games, but they haven't showed their hand.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they match up with the Rockets. Obviously the Rockets. I love the small ball because the way they fly around on defense, especially in the last like few minutes of the game, is like I think one of the best help defenses in the league. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. But I think honestly, I think the Rockets are going to take it, even though they're the lower seed right now.
Yeah, that's the $1 million question. Mike, Stacey, who's coming out of here?
Ooh, out of just this series?
Oh.
Yeah, Thunder Rockets.
I got Rockets in 7. in 7. I just think nobody they don't have who's guarding James Harden and Russell Westbrook on the Thunder. Like I respect Chris Paul. I know he controls the game, and they got Schroeder and they got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I get that, but what you doing with the beard? Because in the playoffs, we could say all we want. First round, James Harden don't have many problems in the first round unless it's the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Russell Westbrook I love Russell Westbrook in Houston. Russell Westbrook as your second option in doses, in micro doses. That's a crazy tandem to try to keep up with. So I just don't think the Thunder will be able to stop them. Then you got shooters everywhere. And then I think the Rockets have one of the best mid-season acquisition of the year, Robert Covington. I just think he's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. I've been seeing him get blocks on like centers and whatnot. I mean, the dude flies around. He can knock down the 3 ball. I like the Thunder. I think they're a great story, but I could see Houston taking them out. But I think they push them. I think it goes 7 because Chris Paul, he's been there. He's done that.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rockets too. James Harden just the big difference maker in this series. The Thunder, I love them. I like them collectively. And like you said, they're going to push. But at the end of the day, if Harden dropped 40, 50, 60, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yeah. I mean, I got the Rockets in like 6 or 7 as well. What I will say about James Harden, like who's going to guard him though, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is like a 6'5", 6'6" point guard and he's long too. So, I mean, he's going to obviously do his best, and I'm sure Billy Donovan will be throwing all sorts of schemes at him. But, I mean, there's really no way to lock down James Harden.
Right.
Whatever you want to say about him in the playoffs. So they can try, but it'll be, I think, Rockets in 6, honestly.
Yeah, as much as I would love to say Thunder, I'm really high on SGA. Harden's not getting out first round. That's not happening. He'll cook something up. He'll drop 60 a game if it takes. He's not going out first round. Not a chance. But we'll